The War of Independence wasn't just about armies clashing on battlefields. It was a struggle shaped by remarkable individuals whose courage, vision, and determination forever changed the course of history. The American Revolutionary War, fought between 1775 and 1783, was the crucible in which the United States was born. It was a monumental struggle for freedom against the British Empire, setting the stage for the birth of a new nation founded on the principles of liberty and democracy. At the heart of this conflict were iconic figures on both sides, brilliant military commanders, visionary leaders, and international allies. In this video, we'll take a closer look at some of the key players who shaped the destiny of not just America, but the world. George Washington, the Commander-in-Chief.
From the Siege of Boston in 1775 to the daring crossing of the Delaware River in 1776, Washington's ability to lead through the most critical moments of the war made him the heart and soul of the Revolution. His strategy wasn't just about winning battles, it was about holding the fragile Continental Army together. At times, his army was outnumbered, under-equipped, and on the brink of collapse. Yet, Washington's resilience, tactical brilliance, and sheer willpower kept the fight for independence alive. He knew that every battle was part of a larger mission, to secure the future of the new nation. George Washington's perseverance and leadership turned a band of untrained soldiers into a force that ultimately defeated the world's most powerful empire. Without his vision and steadfastness, the path to American victory might have been very different. Washington wasn't just a military leader, he was a unifying force who helped shape the identity of the United States. His role in the War of Independence was central to the ultimate victory, making him the enduring symbol of American freedom.
Thomas Jefferson, the pen behind the Declaration.
While battles were being fought on the front lines, there was another battlefield, one of ideas and principles. And at the heart of it was Thomas Jefferson, the man who gave voice to the revolutionary spirit. Tasked with drafting the Declaration of Independence, Jefferson's words were more than a call for rebellion, they were a manifesto for human rights and liberty. His powerful writing framed the case for independence, grounding it in the idea that all men are created equal and endowed with unalienable rights. Jefferson's eloquence transformed the aspirations of the colonies into a clear, compelling vision of a free and independent nation. His words resonated not just within the colonies, but across the world, inspiring future generations of freedom movements. Through his pen, Jefferson became a key architect of American independence, ensuring that the fight for freedom was not just a military struggle, but also a moral and ideological one. Jefferson's declaration didn't just declare independence, it set the philosophical foundation for the United States, a foundation that continues to guide the nation to this day.
Benjamin Franklin, diplomat extraordinaire.
While the battles raged on in America, Benjamin Franklin was waging a different kind of war, a diplomatic mission that would change the course of the Revolution. Franklin's greatest contribution to the War of Independence wasn't on the battlefield, but in the drawing rooms and courts of Europe. As America's chief diplomat in France, his charm, wit, and intellect helped secure a crucial alliance with the French, an alliance that brought much-needed military and financial support to the struggling colonies. The French alliance, secured largely through Franklin's efforts, provided the Continental Army with naval power, soldiers, and supplies. It was this support that helped turn the tide, especially during pivotal moments like the Siege of Yorktown. Without Franklin's diplomacy, the colonies might have struggled to secure the resources and support needed to win the war. His ability to win over the French was nothing short of extraordinary. Benjamin Franklin's skillful diplomacy made him a vital player in the American victory. His negotiations with France ensured that the fight for independence was more than just an American struggle, it became an international cause.
King George III, the monarch opposing independence.
While the American colonies fought for their freedom, there was one man determined to keep them within the British Empire, King George III, the monarch who became the face of British opposition. When news of the Declaration of Independence reached King George III, it was seen as an outright rebellion against his rule. His response was swift and resolute, he would not allow the American colonies to break away without a fight. Under his reign, Britain launched a military campaign to crush the revolution and restore control. As the symbolic and political leader of the British Empire, King George III oversaw the massive military effort that escalated the war. Under his leadership, Britain sent thousands of troops to American shores, launched naval blockades, and sought to suppress the uprising at all costs. King George III's determination to hold on to the colonies ensured that the war would be long and brutal. His refusal to acknowledge the legitimacy of American independence prolonged the conflict, shaping its intensity and scale. While King George III may have been distant from the battlefields, his resolve to keep the American colonies within the British Empire was a driving force behind Britain's military response. His role as the monarch opposing independence was central to the war's escalation. Marquis de Lafayette, the French ally. At just 19 years old, the Marquis de Lafayette crossed the Atlantic to fight for a cause that wasn't his own, yet he would become one of the most important figures in the American struggle for independence. Lafayette, a young French aristocrat, was deeply inspired by the ideals of liberty and saw the American Revolution as a fight worth joining. Despite his youth, he quickly gained the trust of George Washington and became a key leader within the Continental Army. His leadership in battles like the Siege of Yorktown cemented his legacy as one of America's greatest foreign allies. At Yorktown in 1781, Lafayette played a crucial role in the final major battle of the war. His ability to coordinate French and American forces helped corner the British, leading to their surrender and the effective end of the conflict. Without Lafayette's contributions, this pivotal victory might not have been possible. Lafayette wasn't just a military leader, he was a symbol of international support for the American cause. His dedication to freedom and his tactical brilliance helped turn the tide of the war and secure America's independence. The Marquis de Lafayette's contributions on the battlefield and his unwavering support for the Revolution made him an essential figure in the American victory. His legacy as a French ally who believed in the cause of liberty continues to be celebrated to this day.
John Adams, the advocate for independence.
While soldiers fought on the battlefield, John Adams was waging a different kind of war, one of ideas, diplomacy, and relentless advocacy for independence. Adams was one of the fiercest proponents of American independence in the Continental Congress. His passionate speeches and unwavering commitment convinced many hesitant delegates that breaking away from Britain was the only viable path forward. As one of the key architects of the Declaration of Independence, Adams played a vital role in making the dream of a free nation a reality. Adams didn't stop at securing independence on paper. He worked tirelessly to build international alliances, most notably with the Dutch Republic, which provided critical financial support to the American cause. His negotiations helped secure loans and supplies that kept the revolution alive during its darkest hours. Though he may not have led troops into battle, Adams' political and diplomatic work was indispensable. His ability to unite the colonies and secure foreign aid ensured that the revolution had the resources it needed to succeed. John Adams was a relentless advocate for independence both on the political stage and in the diplomatic arena. His efforts to secure international support and unite the colonies were instrumental in the ultimate success of the revolution.
Nathaniel Green, the tactical genius.
While some commanders sought glory in major battles, Nathaniel Green found his victories in strategy, masterfully outmaneuvering the British in ways that would turn the tide of the war. Tasked with reclaiming the South after devastating American losses, Greene devised a brilliant plan: avoid large, direct confrontations with the superior British forces and instead, engage in hit-and-run tactics. His southern campaign relied on guerrilla warfare, small skirmishes, and strategic retreats to exhaust the British, stretching their supply lines and wearing them down. In battles like the one at Guilford Courthouse, Greene's tactics of strategic withdrawal and targeted engagements inflicted heavy casualties on British forces, despite technically losing the battles. By the end of the campaign, the British were weakened and demoralized, paving the way for American victory. Greene's ability to adapt and innovate in the face of overwhelming odds made him one of the most effective commanders of the Revolution. His southern campaign not only crippled British forces in the South, but also disrupted their control of key territories. Nathaniel Greene's tactical genius lay in his unconventional approach to warfare. His relentless campaigns in the South weakened British forces to the point of collapse, playing a critical role in securing American independence.
General Charles Cornwallis, the British commander.
While American forces were pushing for independence, one British general found himself at the center of a decisive moment in the war. General Charles Cornwallis's surrender at Yorktown was not just a defeat, it was the endgame of the American Revolutionary War. General Cornwallis was the commanding British officer in the southern colonies, tasked with securing British control over the region. Despite a series of tactical successes, his decision to fortify Yorktown in Virginia would become his undoing. In the fall of 1781, as Cornwallis's troops awaited reinforcements, they were met with a formidable combined force of American and French soldiers led by General George Washington and the French General Rochambeau. The American and French siege tactics, along with the decisive naval blockade by the French fleet under Admiral de Grasse, cut off Cornwallis's escape routes and supplies. On October 19, 1781, Cornwallis was forced to surrender. The sight of British troops laying down their arms marked a turning point in the war, signaling the collapse of British efforts to suppress the American Revolution. Cornwallis's defeat at Yorktown was a decisive blow that effectively ended major military operations in the American Revolutionary War. His surrender led to peace negotiations and the eventual recognition of American independence. General Charles Cornwallis's surrender at Yorktown was the culmination of a series of strategic blunders and overwhelming American and French pressure. This pivotal defeat not only marked the end of the war but also secured American independence, reshaping the course of history. As we look back on the American War of Independence, it's clear that the outcome was shaped not just by the clash of armies, but by the extraordinary contributions of key individuals who each played a pivotal role. From George Washington's resilient leadership and Thomas Jefferson's eloquent advocacy to Benjamin Franklin's diplomatic triumphs and Marquis de Lafayette's crucial military support, each figure brought unique strengths to the fight for independence. King George III's staunch opposition, John Adams' relentless political maneuvering, Nathaniel Greene's tactical genius, and Cornwallis's ultimate surrender were all critical in shaping the course of history. The American Revolution was more than a mere military struggle. It was a complex battle of ideas, leadership, and diplomacy. These remarkable individuals forged a new nation with their courage, vision, and dedication. Explore the stories of these influential figures further and reflect on their enduring impact on history. How did their contributions shape the world we live in today? Share your thoughts in the comments below and don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us for more fascinating historical insights.